Thanks, Tosh. I was talking in Discord. Happens every time. But when we have this positioning where we have POC and our value high up at the highs of our range, and we've now rejected it after failing to hold outside, right? It is more than likely that this low does not maintain. I'm keeping an eye on it. We're waiting to see if someone gets trapped or if someone can initiate. But again, we're at our value low and we're at our 30-second opening range low. We need to see an incredibly strong lift and ideally a push back over 502, 505. Or this is just going to be sell side right in here. On any sort of reoffer. So keeping an eye on it. It's a bit awkward that we've slowed down here, which makes me think that you're going to get shorts that are going to get punished here into this low. We're going to have to come back up, right? Trap them again. Then we can go down or we'll go up after that. I'm not too sure. I'm just really not excited about this low. Especially with ES where it is. This NQ seller needs to get out of here. Our ideal low is going to be the Russell needing to come down here, to be honest. Back down to value. It is what it is up here. Wait for us to get outside of this lower highs. Usually when we break value and we break below POC and see acceptance below the 2, I target value low. So to me it looks like ES probably has one more leg down, which is kind of what I'm getting at. We would need to see a seller get trapped and a buyer really push this for this not to just have one more down. Yeah, I mean, this is where we see rejection of our POC, our ETH high, right? It's just what I have drawn. We just need to see if this daily value low is going to hold, which is basically a double bottom on ES, or if we're going to need to come down to 308s. We watch view up now. Again, like the Russell's been really carrying, and we have weak tech with a new low. So what needs to shift for that to not be bearish? Like, okay, well, we need either the Russell to be able to hold here, see a strong bid, and get our pop, right? We're gonna need to see NQ see significant buy side step in, or you have both NQ and RTY both pushing down right now. So where are our pivots that make the most sense locally to play, make this make sense? And really it's the Russell. The Russell has been leading us, right? Just like yesterday. the rebalancing. To check on the options map, but we're still holding that 250 level. We can hold it and don't break. Good chance for 60s. If we break below 250s, good chance we go to 2. On a break of 2. It's off with option. It's kind of been what's controlling everything. Really keeping an eye on RTY here. Like it either bounces this AVU up or we're coming back down to retest value. And until we see that Russell stop making lower highs and lower lows, going to be hard pressed that the over. Just keep an eye on NQ here into 84s. What we're looking for is the recovery of 84s, ability to bid off, retest our AV up here.
So the S&P 500,
or we're going to get one more leg down.
5,250. 2-year yields rose 4 basis points to 4.6%. The bond market is set to close at 2 p.m. New York time. Swaps traders trimmed bets on Fed easing, with contracts showing an implied probability of about 60% for a June cut. The dollar was on track for a quarterly gain.
This is your retest here. Back to our offer on yes. 12.25 to 13.25. It's a 1 point. So far, just bouncing a value low with the Russell. I want to see us over 160 on RTY for anything to make sense. Or it's just continuation of the same.
Told you that I'm slightly broken, that I might lose focus when I am. I know you know that life gets colder, colder when you're frozen over like I am.
Watch to see if we get a strong reoffer here on a yes into 13. Offer stepped in, right into 13, pushing back down. This is about your last chance here for buy side, in my opinion, at this 10. 10's hold, or we'll probably push back down. I would like to see a look below our most recent low. That was going to do it off the 13s. We have both the Russell and NQ continuing to fall. Russell failing to break that downtrend. Again, needed that over that 160 level. We have Russell now almost back to value. Might be enough here. We'll have to see if this level can hold. What we are looking for the last attempt. If 55.1 does not hold, fully expect us to come down to this 50-50. Just keeping an eye as we push down into target here on ES, off of the offer into 13s, and now into our 308s. The only thing that keeps us up is a strong supportive bid here on RTY on our value high, and a lift with NQ at the same time and recovery of 8 hours as supportive. If we don't see that, I fully expect another leg down on ES below 30. So we'll have to see if the Russell can get its shit together here. Think about the Russell with the AV WAP here, with our bands. Do you see how we had strong trend where we were holding our upper edge, right? Our upper deviation is the word I'm looking for. We are now at a pivot. We're at our value high as well as our anchored VWAP here. If this fails to hold and it becomes a resistant level, fully expect this move to happen. So we're keeping an eye on this AVWAP, seeing if this is now a resistance, and if we get the look below our value. Move stops down across the board, pushing into our target theory at 308. Gonna delete this now. NQ just sideways, ranging. Just noise. Yeah, but what is it doing inside the 30-second opening range low? Holding a lower distribution, right? Failing to get back over the mid while holding view up as resistance. So like if we do get a failure, it's like buyers do one of two things here. Right? Like they either continue to maintain this 480 and we trap enough sell side off of a failure and then we get a strong lift off of stopping them out and then seeing market and buyers step in initiative that pushes over, or like this is just going to be more of the same trash. Like we need sell side to get stopped out here or up. I just watched the re-offer on RTY. Direction's been down since it stopped moving up. Like market direction's been down. We can't see NQ over 505 at that 30-second opening range high. Like it just looks like sell side acceptance, the lower end of our distribution, which is just a continuation sign. So I'd say probably everything comes down to these lower pivots, or we see someone that's trapped that would show and would make an initiative here make sense, right? Like if we see something on footprint that changes the narrative, sure. Not seeing it yet.
Hey guys.
Yo.
What's up, Rory? You're alive? I was worried about you.
Just not gonna say hello, Mario?
I did say hello.
Oh. Oh, Rory.
Yeah, what do you mean? He responded to me.
Hello there.
Sig, are you more biased one way or the other, or are you just kind of waiting for this box to break?
I'll know once the Russell retests the low.
Kind of feels like NQ's curling back up, but I just don't trust any movements right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. NQ just feels like noise, but everything's like coming down into where it needs to. So it's like either buyers see a nice bid with the Russell finally finding a low. NQ sideways is fine. Like if the Russell can find movement here, like the market gets lift. You just need to get back over 55. I mean, it just seems like across the board, but Russell seems like by far the best instrument to trade lately.
It's definitely the one moving today with direction.
Yeah.
Probably helps that you have all of the Bitcoin miners and weed names making moves today, pushing the Russell.
I feel like if you're gonna attempt NQ longs, like you are trying at this 480, and you're putting your stop at the low. Because if not, like it just doesn't seem like there's anything here. Like either you think there's a long, or because to me, like I don't know. I just wouldn't touch anything until we see the Russell break these lower highs. Get back in out of value. But like, if you are gonna try it, it makes sense to try off this 480 and just stop it the lowest low with ES holding 308. The only move that was obvious to me was the reoffer of 13. Everything else has been chop. Same with the Russell falling, like that was a mean call. But here's our real test. We either say initiative buyers here again at like this 308 yes, where we hold the LVN, or we'll come back down to 305, 305.50 area. For previous value low.
White House economic advisor Brainard says there's more work to do to lower costs for families.
True.
Like, things are expensive. The end.
We'll probably know if the Russell is going to hold this or not if we maintain here on KRE. It's literally the same chart. Imagine.
At 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we get US Baker Hughes oil rig count. Prior 509, and US Baker Hughes total rig count, prior 624.
I mean, the anticipation down here is killing me.
spot gold hits a record high at $2,225.09. According to Politico, the US is in early conversations about post-war Gaza.
This is where I see before we're headed. Here, you got our bounce at our 5024 stacked buy signal push, and now we are retesting our daily value high, seeing if we can get acceptance back above
At
or
1
not.
p.m. Eastern Time, we get our weekly US Baker Hughes data, oil rig count prior 509, and total rig count prior 624.
Continuing to bounce that 308.25 on ES up above. So far, I just don't see anything yet. That tells me that there isn't just another leg down.
Yeah, if nothing can put in a higher high
Yeah.
of these like basing lifts, then also assume we get ran over. If we see a higher high off of anything that can like sustain, my tune will change. But until then, I agree. Like even on that last little though, it's like basically halfway back, yes, and it was NQ, but Russell cannot even like look to the top edge of this node. Halfway back is like above value high.
So far, carry rejecting value high on the daily, off with the bounce at RPVZ value.
Shortly expecting the results of the Baker Hughes rig counts, I'll lead with the oil rig count.
Pushing into Russell target now, 150. See if it'll become resistance on a pierce below, or if it will go as supportive. Yeah, still just holding our target at 308.25. Rig count's coming out, potentially can help. Usually it's it's noise though.
Good old nothing burger. Russell retesting breakdown here. Obviously new 15's just opened.
Total rig count 621, 621. Still waiting for the oil rig count. $506, $506.
You getting that breakdown from failure at RTY low. This is where I start to get interested. As Russell approaches VWAP and NQ comes into our ET low, yesterday's value high at 60, that's 60 to 50 areas. Our first like line in the sand on NQ. Just waiting for the Russell to show direction. Seeing if this will show a bottom or if we need to come down a bit further for that VWAP target. I don't know. Probably just having two separate anchors, one for GlobeX, one for RTH. But I don't see a way to calculate that uh, without having unless you just have another chart with it. I don't really. I've been trying to figure that out as well. Because I would love for us to, like, we're at what, like, RTH video up here, it's 50.5, right? But pushing down to the 47 one would also be amazing. Which is where our previous value high was. So it's like, okay, we either hold here at 50s, or we see another leg down to 47, or we see a buyer step in. Need to see a push over 50s. Oh, sorry, POC on the Russell if this 50.5 is going to hold. Just mark this. This is POC here. So far bouncing off our Russell low, but need to see a recovery of POC. I mean, it should be fine if you're running ETH. Doesn't make sense not to. You should be able to do both. The issue is when you want to run RTH. ETH is easy. Two anchored VWAPs, or two VWAPs that are set for specific times, is an anchored VWAP. Without the data on chart, though, I don't know if there's a way to calculate a EH VWAP. I'll have to look into it. I usually just manually draw it as a line.
That's a decent attempt there from the bid off that 10 quarter on ES. If it cannot get reclaimed. That was more than we saw, like, absorbing into the lows there that stepped up.
Are your green and yellow levels below the action?
They are not messed up there. On a trend day, we usually are trading above value.
NQES retested at 30-second opening range low. Or sorry, NQ did at our 480, rejected. Strong selling delta up there. ES still within our range. Not ton to say. Russell coming down into our next area of interest for me, which is at this 49-48 area. Below that, of course, is just the V. It looks like we're just gravitating to V. We'll see. There's a potential buy side delta that like is interesting to play off of into this 48-49 if it's a dip and then we see an initiative buyer step in right away. But if not, it just feels like we're slow pulling down to that 47.1. So as we push into this LVN here, 49, where I start to see, like, you need to see like a drastic off of that. Really initiative buyer. Or we'll just keep going down, and that means the trend is down. At our 60s here on NQ, our ETH low. In my opinion, 60s to 50s hold as supportive, or we will retrace the previous balance. Who is it now? It is. If we recover, if yesterday's value high here at 60.50 doesn't show a supportive bid, then it's like, okay, attempt here at these 50s into this 45 for like a very small look to see if buyers are willing to play here. But if not, then it just feels like we'll retrace off of a failure of yesterday value high. We'll come back down to 21. So like, to me, this is why I have this labeled the way I do. Like, you want to see this 60 to 50 really show a responsive bid. Of course, need RTY. There.
Shortly expecting the Fed reverse repo operation.
So, okay, this 48.40 to 49 is like, if they were going to step in, it would be here, or we're just going to come down this 47.
"90 counterparties take 594.428 billion at the Fed reverse repo operation."
Is ES into our 30-second opening range low here at the bottom.
It's interesting. Once this guy like tried to step up and got ran over, we're seeing like a ton more interest, and then that pocket just got ran over.
This is our previous value at 305.50, as well as our 30-second opening range low here at yes, with our Russell at our 48.4. We either see a lift here or there's one more leg down. How it is. Same thing with NQ in the 60 to 50 area. We either see a buyer step up or rough. Want to see buy side on RTY be able to push us back over 49s, recover that as a supportive bid, or well, still just be maintaining the downtrend. But ES has now reached both targets from the reoffer at 13s to 308.50 and now our 305.50.
In 10 minutes' time at 1:30 p.m., we expect comments from ECB's Villeroy, who's speaking at a House of Finance conference in Paris.
Yeah, sorry about that, Free. I had something come up this morning, so it's just an afternoon stream. But next week it'll be live every day, 9:30. Just a personal issue this morning. Also still attempting here. Again, need to see the lift over 49s, or it just feels like I have one more leg down still. Need to see initiative buyers above. Yes, of course, back from our 305.50, rejecting our 308, 25, 50 area, whatever you want to call it. Need to see a lift above that, recovery of that low, that being our value low. If we can do that, we can trade back up. Stepped outside of here, then we can go down. It is really that simple.
That's true, Kiz. That's a good call out. That's one of your best call outs ever, to be honest. This tick structure down here is crazy. I don't know if I've ever actually seen it like stack like this for this long. Not on a zero. I'm sure I have, but
In 5 minutes' time at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, we have ECB's Villeroy speaking at a House of Finance conference in Paris.
Full House of Finance. Immediate bounce off by 47.1, pushing back up to our 49s. Remember, that's your line in the sand here for Russell. Same thing for ES into our 308.25. View sideways, but creating higher lows on the recovery high at 65. Still really no initiative buy side yet. Step in. NQ attempting a small little bit here at 60 area, but that's it. Not a ton. I think there's potential to trap some sellers on on the Russell below 47. If we can get back over 49s, but that's really it. Until then, it just feels like it's ranging. Be a lift over it. There's potential though. Again, ES still holding our 30-second opening range, no change.
According to City YouGov, 1 year ahead UK inflation expectations fell to 3.3% in March. And again, according to City/YouGov, 5 to 10 year ahead UK inflation expectations fell to 3.4% in March. Shortly expecting comments from ECB's Villeroy.
Thin line that separates your shadows from my soul as these walls begin to fall. Head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs.
Kind of underline check-in really quick here. Microsoft, Nvidia, nothing has changed even as we looked a little bit lower on these indices, but you are seeing Apple off this value high now. A decently large candle down through VWAP, and Tesla approaching POC. New half hour just opened here.
Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands reaching out, sword echoes in the smoke as the doors behind me close. No cure for the madness, each turn tangled in the fear of losing sight of the slowly fading light. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend,
hope you don't see higher high on Russell quite soon. I would just expect us to keep coming down. Very similar base imbalance, base imbalance. Your higher high, and then supportive over last basing structure will be your sign that that has ended. Would not mind a tick structure shift with it as well. Top of ranges across the board here. I said would like to see higher high lift. Should be very familiar with what we're really looking for, but Russell up over 49. Clean and balance through 150 half. Ultimately come back towards POC, but I'll take this one step at a time.
Know if it breaks 49s or carry
Yeah.
back up into value high. It's just trading with it, literally. So either we break over value, recover this LVN above, or we don't. If you're playing off of our 305.50 edge on ES or the 60.50 area on NQ, your first PT is here as we retest into our 480 on NQ value low and our opening range low off of the 30-second. It's this blue zone I have marked above. Same thing for ES here. Need to see 308.25 become supportive. Target above 310s. We have a VWAP at 309.25 on ES. So sellers either initiate there again into this like 309, 310 area, or they don't. No, relatively soon.
I am not in one, but yes, looking into next week now, like if this edge holds in terms of like holding above 21, preferably holding above 21.35, I do think that some like June contracts or spreads will be nice. Daily open ES here, back towards 10, value low and Q on RTH. We just need the Russell lift. But this is quite substantial. Nice look back ins on ES and Q. Apple was able to trade back through VWAP and into value high. Still nothing has changed. Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla holding POC. Any secondary legs, we are going to need to see some more participation. Look back towards view up. RTY here. View up daily open ES. Did not get Russell lift with those looks. Apple still respecting top of range.
Buyers lift here, or it just looks bad.
Yeah, I would expect a lower low on Russell and honestly to continue down these other two. We have higher to UVXY here as well. It's been going up with even this little dead cat so far.
Why I say it holds fixed range high from the consolidation we saw at the lows, right? 65.50. Yes, at 308.25. Russell back down to the low of the range. So we see higher lows here, or it just looks like a new low will come in to clarify. Like we hold higher lows and see an initiative buyer step in to defend the previous range as the Russell comes back down to lows. And that same move on ES is just acceptance back into value, right? On retest off of a rejection of our 30-second opening range at 10s. So it's like, okay, can we now see an active buyer willing to participate back inside our balance? If so, right, like we push. If not, okay, now this is our basically last chance buy side to be like, oh, we want to go up. Right, like if ES doesn't want to do this higher level here and get back inside of value, another shift and then an offer step in here and then off of a failure to see an initial bid. But if we can hold here, right, bad thing. Just need to see a bit more speed.
Lift my feet off the ground, let gravity take me up. As beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna sail away, I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul. I've gotta go all the way to eternity. I will run all the way to see you. I've gotta go all the way through time and space to find my voice, to see you. And I'll go.
Yeah, Kevin, you have a huge parlay on NQ. Big play.
Lift my feet off the ground, let gravity
Oh boy. Out of here.
beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna sail away, I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul. I've gotta go all the way to eternity. I will run all the way to see you.
This is this made me giggle.
Yeah, I saw that. True. It just feels like money's coming out of pack, going in tabs. What we, I mean, yep, Russell's moving. You know, like, it is what it is.
It's honestly like I talked about this a little bit with the Russell stuff. But that's like good for the summer market
Yeah,
in
it's.
general, but it's
it's
just
not
kind of
bad.
messy right now with
Yeah.
like
I mean, if you're trying to trade those names, like, yeah, it
yes.
feels terrible. But it's a good thing God gave us the ability to trade RTY.
Well, it's just sauce too. Like with if money's flowing into names that are more like U.S. based and riskier in terms of market cap and like projected earnings, etc. Like that's a good sign for a healthy summer trade, but it's just feeling a little funky right now.
If the market can maintain highs while Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, the Magnificent Seven, right, these names are either neutral or down, and we're maintaining all-time highs, it's not a bad thing for the market. It's just a what I would call a discrete pullback, where we have a shift
Ooh.
into another sector, while keeping the market afloat, right? So it's just like if we can maintain this, that gives Apple, like all of these tech names, the ability to pull back while keeping the market up, and then getting in at a better price, right? Like that's huge for the overall market because that gives us another leg up on tech without having to see, you know, a dramatic pullback. Yes, back to ORL here, no change. And Q into our 50s. New PVZ zones just opened. First reversal. We see the offer stick here on RTY at 47.1, or it bids back up and it's some sellers that are trapped offside. If 47.1 holds offer, then just put it down at 43.8, our next target. You can see that on PVZ as well. Right, if we fail to hold the balance, which we've been oscillating, then we look for reoffer here and a pop down into this as our low. $5:30 a.m. I posted what data was coming out in Intraday Ideas last night. I even put boxes around the important one. If I want to see what stress looks like, sure. What is that?
It's not what stress looks like. That's something else.
That's something.
Oh
That's
my
like full
God.
Harry Wang right there. That's a good one, sir. No, I get rebuild over the weekend, so I just full sent it today. So I was like, you know what? I'm either gonna get a
Okay.
good day.
Yeah.
So
That makes-
that's you should never do that. But it was like, okay, do I want to spend another $100 or do I want to save the account?
Wouldn't saving the account just be like waiting for a good setup and just trading one?
I was trading the ranges. And then I was moving my stops up, in which, you know, we were in a box, so I was doing the dapper. You're the box king.
That is
Okay.
not the dapper.
you didn't
The
know you
dapper's
had
like,
that title?
Please don't put my name on that.
There are 2 trades in that box.
The
Maybe
top and the
3.
bottom, yeah.
Hmm.
You play the top, the range, top and bottoms. No, I was drinking a Red Bull. My heart was going crazy. I was like, what is going on here?
I saw a Solana chart though. It's fucked it.
Crypto?
Yeah, someone scalping, showing their trades. Something similar.
Has anyone traded futures on Webull yet?
I haven't touched Weevil since tomorrow was
Do
$1.
they have commissions?
I would assume.
That's my only thing. It's like, if I'm curious to see what the because I know Robinhood's getting futures as well, which I'd be curious to see what their commission rates are.
I'm sure the commissions are gonna be small, but the spread is gonna be at like they're. That is my.
Looks like per execution, it's or all in Webull, it's $1.40. per mini and 50 cents per micro. It's not that actually. I don't know. Well, it doesn't include regulatory fees, so you'd have to add regulatory fees in. So I'm pretty sure NinjaTrader beats that. I gotta look at their fee structure.
Russell maintaining our balance. NQ maintaining our 250, our 450 low, pushing into 475.75. This is your target. Nothing has changed. Either
I just
find acceptance over 480 or we don't. Sorry.
I just found out something about NinjaTrader I didn't know. So if you're using a prop firm, it's actually advantageous to use Tradeovate over Rhythmic strictly for the fact that NinjaTrader charges 25 cents per contract with Rhythmic order routing. That is a new one. Never knew that. I always wondered why my fees were so much higher than like when I
Yeah.
trade my own cash account. Huh. The more you know.
RTY back up to our 49. See if we can break out this time. This is KRE also into our value high. This has been our pivot. Either we break out of the range, show acceptance, or we don't. Yes, over our 30-second opening range. Pushing to for those 12s if we can hold here and bid at 10s. Again, we need to see a lift above these levels and then a pretty serious bid, or it just feels like we're still trapped in balance. Man, if I could offset profiles, I would be.
Trading view?
Yeah, because well, they added the ability to change the width and the placement of the HD.
Yeah.
But like, if I could just push it, offset it to like the edge, like the visible range, like then it's the ideal volume profile.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's honestly what the one we built with Sam is
Yeah.
like the best actual part of that is being able to stack them in terms of margin.
Yeah, that makes.
That PDF, Darian, might be a good one to include in the futures basics since it has all the all-in rates and everything for NinjaTrader.
Theory going for the high here. Love to see this be able to hold and not just get another sell. Everything top of range. Again, I want to see a lift on KRE and RTY above RTY over this 49, KRE over this 4, and then a strong rebid. Yeah, I think in the futures education hub, that's probably a good place for it. Makes sense.
Microsoft got lifted here, testing VWAP. Tesla full range rotation. And then we got Apple lift as well. That most of that's being reflected in ES here. Obviously NQ got the rotation, but as we keep talking about, it does not feel good until we get everything participating with it. ES is just retesting, like, we have basically a double distribution here with imbalance. We're just testing this upper distribution.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get another opportunity. Right, either like 80s will maintain as the high, or we'll see a pierce above and then a bid off of it for a push to 92. And if it is the high, right, then we just rotate back down, look for like 65s. 5 for a bid. Ranges are pretty clear. It sucks, but like there'll be another opportunity. I really just want to see an active buyer participating on the retest of 309, 310 on ES, or the higher low, and just to show that this seller is no longer present. That has accumulating here, right? We want to see this become a supportive bid here on a in bid off. If it fails, it just doesn't look great. Russell back down to the low, see if the oscillation continues with ES now diverging. Right, so you have Russell into the lows of the oscillation, while ES and Q are into the highs. So if the Russell does get a bid, right, that gives the ability for the overall market to get a lift outside of the range. If the Russell breaks down off the range, and we're at the highs, then it gives us a target on the downside for ES and NQ, because we can then target the bottom of our ranges. What's your trigger if the 80s is the high? Just seeing absorption there on a lower high feels like that's the case. Yeah, probably. There isn't really a great entry unless you're playing off of the RTY breakdown, I think. Again, it's just like the way that I look at it is you have RTY acting as an oscillator right now, which is keeping our market in its current state, which is neutral, and we have NQ also in an oscillator. But what we have here is we have RTY into the lows with NQ into the highs, right? So like either this is going to lift the market and it's going to push, or we're going to see a strong offer below on the Russell, and that allows us to position by basically just putting our stop above 84s and having a 4-point stop at NQ and looking to play off of this low with the weakness in RTY. Like, gives you a 4-point decision area on NQ. Both either short into the highs with the weakness, or look for the look above and watch for the rebid off of it. Have a 4-point range to play around either direction. So the ideal setup for me is Russell holding this, right? NQ, ES both holding a higher low, and then seeing bids across the market all at the same time. This room. Russell fails, right? Know that that's going to create a leg down. It'll give us the weak need or continuation. But like, what's great about this is that if the Russell can't hold here and we do go for this 43.80, like ES and Q have the ability to stay within this range where buyers are, I'm assuming, attempting, right, this 50 to 60. So as the Russell actually finally comes down to its reversion target, finally, right, back down to value, that allows buy side to still have been here, be here, and this to not really validate. Right, now we look for the lift as it comes down into this, and as RTY breaks down into this, we have NQ and ES still maintaining higher lows. So when the Russell actually comes down to this liquidity, if we get a strong buy here, it could be a really great actual bottoming signal, in my opinion. We'll have to see what happens. I'd say if NQ and ES can maintain while this is happening, we just look for the see how the Russell plays out into this lower lower end. I don't know if that made sense, but hopefully it did. Basically, we have ES and NQ neutral while the Russell comes down back to its what I would call reversion target. So once the Russell is done with this movement, seeing as the Russell called the top, right? Once we actually get some movement, all of a sudden the Russell has interested buyers again, right? That are enticed and push. Everything else is just trading in balance. There's your 65s, and then go off the hold. Need to watch to see if get over that value. Watch our re-offer here on RTY into 46.5. Basically just the range breakdown.
To say what you wanna hear, I will bite my tongue till I disappear. sanity has been lost to me, lost to me, lost to me, lost to me. Lost to me,
big retest here for the Russell as we look back towards 147. NQ obviously still just on this value low. More supportive ES. Apple's continuing. We have not seen Microsoft peak over VWAP yet. And about a hour ago, we were talking about these volatility names still coming up. They are retesting now. Specifically watching UVXY. Not a ton of signals on it, but I'm just watching it into the end of the month here.
ECB's Villeroy says core inflation decline is rapid but still too high.
I'm better off now without you. I'm not some toy that you can use. And when you come back, I'll refuse. Cause I'm better off now.
NYMEX diesel April futures settle at $2.61 a gallon. NYMEX gasoline April futures settle at $2.76 a gallon. US crude oil futures settle at $83.17 a barrel. That's up $1.82 or 2.24%. NYMEX natural gas May futures settle at $1.76.
I'm better off now without you. I'm not some toy that you can use. And when you come back, I'll refuse. Cause I'm better off now. Better off now. Better off now without you. Keep everything that spills out of the dark locked up behind your lips. It's blooming out of nothing but a thought, like secrets that slowly slip. Shadow in the spotlight, no stars inside. Chasing the daylight. If you don't care, I don't care. We're out after midnight.
Oh, can we just come down to this low already so we can figure out what we want to do? Jeez.
On the wall, I finally meet you again. We're slowing down under the moon, painted trails where we've been. Shadow in the spotlight, no stars inside. Chasing the daylight. If you don't care, I don't care. We're out after midnight.
Yeah, definitely. Well flow, bro. Chart's looking like a barcode. Just waiting for the Russell to get out of here. Market's just waiting on direction. It's the exact same shit that happened yesterday. I just don't know if we need to come down for that ORH value level area on RTY, or if we can just breach over the 49s and trap these guys here. I don't care, whichever we do, it's fine. These KRE rotations are... I just want speed so that it's playable.
ECB's Villeroy says the ECB's 2% inflation target is now within sight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that these ranges are bad. I mean, again, like I called the offer into 13s and the push down to 305s. Same thing for our 480 on NQ into a 450. Like, I think the ranges are playable, but like you just have to have patience for these edges. If 50s go, then I think if that 50s pierce below on NQ and then we re-offer 50-55, our chances of maintaining up here would be pretty slim, because then we're just in yesterday's balance, right? Like if yesterday's value high no longer shows a supportive bid, then it's like, okay, well, we might as well just go to yesterday POC. So like this 50 to 60 area on NQ for me is like where I want buyers to kind of accumulate, and if we can't recover that, then to me it's like, okay, well, we're in a predicament, because kind of just expect the offer to then sit here and then push us down to 21s. So I really want to see a consistent lift and then push off of this area. Even from a look below, you want to see a bid recover and then go for it. We start trading back into yesterday's balance, you've got issues. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's one of those things where, to me, when we get like these crazy moves up, 90% of the time we're gonna get like a big retrace and then trap and then it's just, there's no structure. This is like my last stand here before we actually come down into the flow. We'll see what they do in the end of day, but I really want RTY to be able to find a 42, 43 for the narrative to play. So here's our test. Russell finally at target off of the break of the range. We either see buyers step in here and willing to defend this area. We see a lift off of it, right? Or we have probably downtrend and a pretty significant lag if we don't see buy side show any interest into this 42, 43. Again, it's just like 450s on NQ. If this goes offer, then it's not a great look. But like if we continue to find buyers here, it's like, okay, balance is still maintaining. you will know if you're going to get like extreme downside because we watch our SPX pivot. That 45 to 50 is where we expect buy side to be. That flips, then you have potential volatility to kind of like step back into the market. As long as the Russell's everything else is maintained. There's been no shift.
ECB's Villeroy says we need to take out insurance against a hard landing by starting to cut rates. ECB's Villeroy says whether in April or June the exact date of our first rate cut is not of existential importance.
Yeah, I mean, all of these short weeks, man, are just, they're never great.
ECB's Villeroy says the first rate cut should come
Especially
in
end of
spring
month, end
and
of
come
quarter.
in
It's just like, it feels
independently of
terrible.
The US Federal Reserve's time frame.
All right, immediate bounce on RTY off of our breakdown and push down into our PVZ low. We just need to see if this is enough to get us back over, or if this will fail, right? Like everything else maintained the range. Exactly what I was talking about. ES and NQ maintained. Russell came down. Now let's see if there's initiative or if it's just a continuation. 50 is still holding. 65 first target on NQ.
After that, we don't
305, 50 to 308, 25. Same thing as before. 310's above this. Just wait to find Russell pivots. You play off of those if the range persists on ES. Bleeding this. No reason. The chart.
Brent crude futures settle at $87.40 a barrel. That's up $1.39 or 1.61%.
Yeah, sellers here stepping in again at VWAP, attempting to hold this down. Just looking for a lift over 10.5 and then a bid to step in, or you expect absorption here. We don't see a initiative buyer willing to push over VWAP. Russell battling with POC from our low. Seeing if we can reclaim. It's crazy the amount of people that are willing to take a trade here for a long, but are unwilling to take a trade here for a long. But now we'll attempt here, and here, and here. Trying to buy preemptively trying to take the breakout before it happens instead of playing the edge that we've been talking about the last 2 hours. Yes. Retesting our RTY balance low, 46 to 47 area. See if we can lift back in. Be ideal. Carry back up into the top of our range. see if this seller is still here at this 80. We can lift above. What we're looking for is a push into 90s on over 80, and then if it's gonna play, that's what I'm watching for. Like either balance or persist here, and the seller still positioning, or they'll let it push up to a VWAP up at 9. Opening range low at 80. Good. Outlook.
I'd expect ES to make a higher high here. Alright, there we go. I was too slow. You can blame Darian.
Move stops up as we approach 90s. Look for 80s. Stay bid. 75, 80 is what or on any back off of offer from that tries to down from 90s. If we lift above, then we look for 505. 5 become. Sauce, you get what I mean now? Hopefully. I feel like the Russell did the thing that we were looking for. Alright, cool. I want to see 80s hold, or I like the 75-80 now. This is what we're looking for. Ability to build here, and then pop for 505. Yeah.
On this move, just a little underlying check-in here. So Microsoft popped VWAP on this, came up into value high. This is Apple trading into yesterday's range now, structure. Up into and over its value low from yesterday. Nvidia back into daily VWAP, which we were holding as supportive for most of the morning session. For me, Sauce, it's just like when you see that the underlines that have been sitting sideways like start moving, that's abnormal, and then you get the Russell, which we've been waiting for forever. Get that pop, like things have changed.
Now we just look for people who are greedy to see if they get offside at a undesirable position or continuation. Yeah. Yep. It's the only thing that's going to get movement is like traps like this right now until liquidity comes back. It feels like the only time people are willing to like actually participate on like at market it's like if we see someone that cuts offside and then like we get some follow through from just like people YOLOing in. I mean, like that's not very different than most things, but a lot of times we can identify like a higher time frame trader like pretty quickly and then see them like actually positioning. But these feel a lot more like just like noise, and then you get like, I don't know, 5 minutes of a move, and then it's noise for 40 minutes, and then it's, you know, like you have to be very clear in what your plan is and be willing to participate with it, understanding like the narrative compared to a normal session. I don't know. Yeah, and then you just have people that are like offside the entire time, just trying to short this thing, like then just like yesterday, like oh my god, that end of day where people were just like short as we're pushing. It's like what why? Yeah, it's gonna be tough over 15s, man. 505.15 is just so rough. It was so rough in overnight as well. If we can ever see initiative bid step in over 15, like it definitely has wings. But it just makes for a really nice risk off in the meantime. Let me go to our size MQ. They leave this shit into the overnight. Ugh. Yeah, let's watch Russell into 48. 49 still acting as res here on RTY. I'd like to see 48's bid. And Q again, like 5 is kind of like 4, I think, for a bid to step in. We just want a continuation of RTY momentum. Higher lows, higher lows. Stagnation into this makes complete sense. For ES specifically. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if those deltas at 15 acted as a support, but I don't know. Feel like pushing down into 1350 and then seeing a buyer kind of step in, sell side trying to get trapped there and then pop would be ideal.
Here it is.
Yeah. You need buyers to like actually absorb here though, or it just comes down to a 950-10.
Is Microsoft retesting this look overview up? These are structural retests, CSNQ. Let's see what it's just talking about.
Later, Romeo. One of my favorite trades in the morning, Max, is waiting for the basically the first, I would say 15 to 20 minutes of the market, and then trading either the break of value low or value high, and then playing the gap if there's a gap down. It's like one of my favorite trades is just waiting for the 30-minute, basically seeing acceptance outside of value in the initial, I'm going to call it balance, the initial positioning, I guess is a better way to better term, after the first 30 minutes. And if we have a gap below, to targeting the gap below. It's like one of my favorite trades. It just works. Just like a structural repair trade off of a failure to maintain the highs from overnight, and then just targeting back for like a structural repair. It's one of the trades that I talk about in the morning and we take over and over again. But I think like if you're just learning, I think just looking for those break balance setups are probably your best bet, because you have a very clear invalidation if they're not going to work, if you're not going to be able to find acceptance outside of value. Because it gives you two trading opportunities that are very mechanical, either the hold outside of value or the break back in and reoffer for the retrace through value. I think that like those kind of trades are the ones that you should be looking at most, and you should be ignoring really everything. Start. And the reason why I say that is because they're not just like the levels that are created, right? That actually gives you like price action and price levels that aren't just like random squiggles on your chart. They're based off of positioning, right? Value. So like you have a bit more on your side in those areas than just trying to like mark a random, break of structure or like high or low, some garbage like that, where like, yeah, it can play, but like if you don't have commentary, if you don't have someone to help you out in that area, and you're not great with order flow stuff yet, I feel like just trading like your value edges is still by far the best, because it gives you the most context without having to a ton. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, we want just 480s to hold, right? And we want to see the look back over 90.95. 80s holding so far, but pretty weak bid. Really keeping an eye on KRE into the bottom of this oscillation. Russell still holding where we wanted. And Max, if you DM me with any questions, or if you think that there's potentially a setup when you're backtesting, just like screenshot, right? Just ask me questions in DMs. I will always answer when I have time. We can take advantage.
We get ES testing back into these past highs. Microsoft made another full oscillation up VWAP. It's very responsive.
There's a huge correlation between the people who DM me with their playbooks and their bad trades and are open and the success of them. I'm just saying. Like, if you can imagine.
I'm searching for some sunshine. Just need one ray through the dark skies. I gotta look for the bright side. I know we're gonna be alright. I know we're gonna be alright. Just make it through another day. As these dark clouds will go away. I'm holding on to my faith. I know we're gonna be okay. Yeah, we're gonna be okay.
Aram, have you tried range-based footprint charts? Not tick, but range. No, no, no. Like range charts. So like, there's a pretty prominent footprint trader who trades on a 14R chart, ES chart. Yeah, so very interesting. And then I was watching another person who trades on an NQ 512 tick chart with a 4 volume filter on.
Yeah, I used to do the 512
but I don't know.
On TOS, that was all my stuff was
Yeah.
always 512.
There are no
Very, very different.
candles on footprint chart.
What's the difference between a range and Renko? Because isn't Renko just candles based on range?
It does make so many bars surf.
Guess I'm just a little confused what the difference would be.
The
Renko is just a
Renko is
different kind of
fixed
chart.
size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's a 12 point range right there. Like each bar is 12 points. I don't know. Renko charts can be fun to trade on. I don't know if you guys ever experimented with them.
On TOS with real Renko, yeah.
This is a real Renko. It has wicks and everything.
a
This is-
range footprint
the-
should still show you the movement within the bar, where the Renko is just gonna print once it moves that amount.
Like this is the current bar. It's still printing the movement on it. This is a custom Renko, so maybe it's like a hybrid range Renko. I don't know, but because the built-in one just sucks, and the trading view ones suck too. So I have a custom Renko because you can't back test Renkos either. So I had to go get one and modify it. Are we gonna flag here and break out? That's the crazy question.
SPX 60s hold. There's potential for a squeeze today.
You think we would squeeze Friday into close? That's never happened before.
Yeah, it's if the same thing plays out
Oh, it's
yesterday with
Thursday.
0 DT close, then there's potential. We'll just have to see.
So what you're
Uh,
saying is SPX 0 DTE calls. I'm kidding.
I mean, I don't recommend it, but that's if they do the same thing as yesterday, then they here I'll show. I'm trying to find the example. Surf and I were talking about this, and then it happened in real time today. I found a really nice visualizer.
Oh, we did get that nice squeeze into close yesterday after like the entire day of chop, didn't we?
Yeah, well, we breached the 225 gamma wall, and then we drifted right up to the next wall at 250 after the failure, and we're at our 260 wall right now. Here, this is what happened yesterday in the close. You can actually see it in real time with the drift off the break. Seems like majority of our movement right now is being restricted by 0 to T, and then as they come off, we get significant lift. I doubt that this kind of like that rotations will last, but for right now, with like end of quarter and all of that, it makes sense. Oh, thank you, sir. But that would be the only way, I think.
It confuses me by how sometimes the Twitter embeds work and sometimes they
Yeah, I
don't.
don't
I know
get
that
it.
one's the different like subheading. I think when you use twitter.com it works, but when you use x.com it doesn't work, or FX Twitter. I think Discord's like, no, we're not gonna allow X links because it should still be Twitter. It's their little way of protesting.
It's
I believe
it's
just the way
weird. I
worked.
don't know, because it works for images with just the regular one, but not videos.
So what's weird is I put the x.com in like the raffle details channel and it works, but when I put it in the chat channel it didn't work. So it makes me wonder if there's different permissions for the channels that actually allow embeds. No, we have embed links enabled, so I don't know what it is.
I'm walking
Where does carry need to go? It's there. To your most steep back level.
You have 15-minute 3-bar potentials here on Apple and Microsoft. Microsoft much cleaner than Apple. Put up into like 22, 22, 30.
Yeah. It's also built into the levels, technically. But I think it only shows one of the edges.
Yeah, it does.
So
I think
maybe,
it's just a 14th link. I don't
yeah.
remember.
So would you want like the box on the levels indicator? We're also fixing, we're turning on, instead of the last 5-day value areas, it'll be just yesterday's value, high, low. You'll see. That'll be fixed. That can be a playable thing. We can probably add that into the update.
Hey Ram, I'm actually working on my first trading view indicator that I personally coded, and that's one of the things I'm working on, but I gotta clean up visually how it works so it doesn't have like the connecting bars and everything. I'm still learning PineScript. Cause Darian, I wanted to figure it out myself. That's how you learn.
Yeah, I agree, Rob. I'll work on that next. That's not a bad... Yeah, I'll work on that next. What I'll do is I'll create templates for each one, and then it'll be a copyable link, and then you can just save that layout, and then you can save the template. So it'll be like a trading view link with the indicators already loaded in with my settings for each one. That'll probably be a band-aid fix until I can figure out ways to incorporate the indicators or create something new that makes sense. That'll be a good way to at least get settings like immediately.
It wouldn't even be bad to do it with the levels update. Where we
Yeah,
just throw the box on.
that's
instead
what
of
I
the
said.
line.
Yeah, I think that's the
Yeah.
way. If we can display it that way, it's definitely the move.
Levels is still probably like one of my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, it's just no
It
nonsense.
just saves me so much time.
Yes, yeah. No nonsense.
It's a story about a ID crisis. Used to think my only future was
This is what I'm trying to make in TradingView. It gives you the Globex high lows, and I'm gonna split it into Asia and Europe sessions, and then I'm gonna have the opening range and the opening like high low day open, yesterday's close. The only thing you guys haven't really experimented with, and I don't know exactly how useful they are, but ADE is average daily expansion, and ADN is average daily noise. And usually, if you're chopping between the noise areas, that means you're going to have a range bound choppy day. Can help you kind of determine trend days versus non-trend days too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you just do that with the profile, but that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just a different way. It's just on Ninja, you have to pay for the volume profiles, so it's like it's a way to kind of get around it. That's all.
That makes sense.
But you can pseudo make like a makeshift profile that calculates in real time, but they don't let you have one that looks back historically unless you pay for their data package, which I have, but not everyone has, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Little check in on this look above on ES. The 3-bar Apple 15-minute and 3-bar Microsoft played here.
Yeah, this 2075 is PT. We need SPX over 65 for more. Russell still flagging, no change there. Fine. 75 is PT though for yes. 23 is above that. I can't believe they allowed that on TradingView. That's funny though. They'll allow that, but then when we write down like a 25 paragraph white paper on how our
Yeah,
indicator
like,
works,
nah, fam. Nah.
they're like, nah, this isn't useful. Couldn't be. But each red candle saying FUD.
Yeah, but it's free, so it must be fun.
It depends. They're much more the way that we have it set up with private and locked is it's hard. They're the most strict on those kinds of scripts because there's the potential for scams, promising things that are like unrealistic. You know? There are a lot of ways to manipulate TradingView data to make your strategies look very good. With repainting and also just Taikanashi in general. Anything that uses Taikanashi is just like automatically ruin strategies that inflates numbers. They get pretty strict.
Some people like me are just destined to fuck up everything that we mess with. If I was made as a joke, I don't get it. Missed the call, but I guess I got the message. Usually I fall too hard, I'm addicted to pain. And if the world's on fire, I'll be swimming in flames, yeah. Cause I'm too impatient to wait for change. I know I'm far from perfect, oh yeah. But I know I can make it work, I know I can make it work. I'm crazy, everybody knows my name, but I don't even know my name. Going insane, putting heavy on my brain, and I don't even know my name. It's a story about a ID crisis. Used to think my only future
This is Russell retesting 30-second opening range low, immediate buy off of that. Need to see if we can get back over 47.1. Just waiting for that downtrend to break. NQES holding the highs just like before. Similar pattern. Russell finds a loss of trend. Wait for that to come down to a supportive level. Look for a reclaim. And continue on. Really want to see KRE back over 50.24 in a supportive bid back into the previous balance. That'd be ideal. If it can't get that yet, there's probably one more leg down on KRE before Russell can go. If financials can't find a bottom here. I would like to see the lift, but I'm just keeping that in mind. This happens.
Can't keep my head on my shoulders. It's like I'm losing myself. I still see your shadow on the wall, like I'm living in hell. Touchdown in a new place, trying to escape your poison, and I hate that I miss a mistake. I'm tired of your ghost, but I don't wanna run away. I can't believe I fell for all of it and it was a show. I know it's toxic, but it just don't feel right letting you go. But you play a game, I can't escape. I'm caught up in the middle. You're running through my head, and all the things we said. I wish I could forget you.
My lines are lining. True. I mean, that's a good area. It's the same area I was talking about, right? Like, you want that bid there at that 55, 57, 50 to 57. What I had there was just 50 to 60, but very similar. Like, bid holds there, or good luck. I just had more. Target pushing down with KRE. Again, just doing that last leg. We'll have to see if we can cover from here, or we'll have to go for that 5. I'd like to see the Russell be able to find a low here.
I said earlier, I don't think it's a great signal, but we did get a higher high on vol there. So you're just seeing, interpret that as people are looking for continued downside protection as we push up. A lot of that is going to be rolls into the future with month end here.
Yeah, we'll have to see if there's actually anything actionable in the last 30 minutes, or if it's just positioning noise. I don't know. Yeah, your edge is at 480. You're at 30-second ORO. Still just playing off that. Now we're back to the mid. Russell just at our ORH high, our 30-second. ES just bouncing around these two deltas at 15 and 18. I'm really waiting for this carry move screen zone. I'd love to see us find bids down here. The Russell, it would be very helpful.
Money market fund assets dipped to $6.04 trillion in the week to March 25th, according to ICI.
Note that our 30-second opening range is on ES is at 310-ish, 310-ish. So if we do get a dip, look for like a wick down in there and immediate participation if it's going to pop. I think just a lot of deltas being exchanged down there. 310, 309. So far everything's just holding. Again, we're just waiting for the Russell to find a low. ES and NQ both came up to targets. 7.5 on ES, 5.05 on Q. So it's now just a waiting game again.
Quick kind of announcement as we're into the last 15 here. Reminder, tomorrow, market is closed. Enjoy your 3-day weekend. Please take some time tomorrow to go through your yearly goals that we really worked on setting up in January, so you should have them. This is the time to start reviewing 3 months in and see what you need to change or what you need to continue to maintain or improve upon those goals set for yourself, and look forward into June, July. Reminder, those who are making market-to-market elections, or depending on how you do your taxes, April, 15th or 16th is your first quarterly payment due. I think that's it for me. Those are my due diligence reports.
Yeah, we can talk about that free. I've gone over it a bit in the past. You can, I mean, I think her trading style is great. First of all, I think when you incorporate deltas on top of that, it can really accentuate her trading style a lot. Instead of just looking at flat volume, we have more data, and with footprint, but you can apply a very similar process with a tapering of a volume and an expansion, or like a volume spike, and then follow through and a push out a volume on the other side, right? So like what we're looking for in a move is basically, as we're pushing down into these lows, we're looking for volume to kind of taper off. We're looking for a spike, and then we're looking for a reversal. We're looking for kind of a volume ramp on the other side for follow through. And this can be both selling pressure kind of waning as we come into a supportive level. We have a candle that will represent either an exhaustive seller trying to push us below a level to break, right? Or a buyer initiating, and then we see follow through afterwards with a volume ramp. I can give you an idea if we'll get follow through on something that we look for quite a bit. And you can see this actually with your deltas in the footprint as well. You'll see a tapering down in our overall volume. In our deltas, we'll see a spike candle, and then we'll see an initiation, and then we'll see follow through in the opposite direction with our deltas in either side as well as volume.
Yeah, Max, we gotta clear just over this halfway back. The middle of node, come back up towards VWAP here. Or else this will be your lower high, but very responsible value low.
Yeah, we need to see if KRE can get back over 50.24. I think if it can, then you're good. Until then, it just feels like reoffer right now. But this is good that we're recovering. The financials can help carry and keep the Russell here. That'd be amazing. Feels a bit choppy. Slow grinding down to our EWAP on ES is what it's looking like down at 310 as the Russell kind of just settles. But I think you might be onto something. We can see some appreciation as we approach. Yeah, I think there's merit to that, especially on the higher time frames free. Something that you might want to look into is, I wonder if that's a public class. Sec.
Market on close imbalance 385 million to the buy side.
Mario, do you remember the volume indicators that we went over in the class? The ones to we went through a couple. Do you remember do you have the PowerPoint handy by chance?
Maybe.
Or just know the indicator name?
Like what type of like volume by time?
Yeah, and the one that
So the volume by time we made our own now. I think it might. Let me find it. I can get you the I can get you everything. Just one second. I gotta just find it.
This is our test over 50.24 on carry. So give us the lift. Last time it was an immediate rejection in offer held, top and hold here. Might give us the movement that we want for the Russell. This can step in. Free, look into an indicator called TSV, time segmented volume, and so it's going to weight the bars a bit differently than just your regular volume weighting. So it's going to take the period in which it's printing, and is it above average for that time of day? Because we know that volume accumulates a ton
I
in
know
the
you
morning and
use-
afternoon.
Are you looking for like the CVD as well?
I was looking for the TSV one, but I found it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Okay.
yeah. There's TSV and then CVD in that.
Yeah.
And then this is. I think that our volume is much better than the one that we had presented previously.
Yeah.
This is always.
This Russell move. KRE, huge.
That's always the TSV one I like.
Yeah, that one's back up to our 49s. You see a break above, or expect our seller to still be here. We can see a support bid over 49s. There's not too much being offered above. Well, 51.5, 52.
So Max, do you see how? And this is good for what we were talking about in class too, but where you said like you're identifying that supportive hold when I asked, and we're up into that 45s, which is retesting this last basing as well as our halfway back there. And it's like it needs to clear this or it's going to rotate back down into those lows. You see that rotation, another supportive action, and then we clear and get our big pop. That's a really good example of defining supportive action as well as structure. And then the next step is understanding, okay, well, where these bids were, are we seeing sellers there now? If yes, we should expect a rotation until we can break above or below either our known buyers and sellers, right? Very simple in terms of principle, but that is a good example. We had some questions from Monday on that stuff, so. No, I think it wasn't early, but it's just the understanding that as we come up and test and trade away from this halfway back, like just over 45s, right, as well as our basing structure, that, okay, if we find sellers there, there's a high probability we're going to retest the lows, right, retest our buy side. So you have two options, right? You either take that as a scalp and wait for a re-entry, or you sit and hold that rotation because of extra signals, right, where we're seeing pivots hold on other names and stuff, right? I would not say it's too early. It's just understanding what needs to occur for the big rotation and what it will look like on the rejection, right?
I also want to point out that Russell is tradable and trade RTY.
Yeah, that's his screenshot there is on Russell.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, and well, exactly, Max, the secondary move.
Yeah, off of 46s. If KRE can hold up here at the highs, it'd be huge. You haven't seen Tech follow through just like yesterday. Tech's still holding, but so if Tech can get some movement, then it can. Your broker only. Hello.
And just the final thing, Max, on that, I don't think you got out too early. If you get out at your PT, which was view up, which is fine,
yeah,
that's a good trade, right? You can then look for another move after that on the supportive hold of view up, but taking that, you have to respect the up, right? It's only going to feel like you got out too early if there's continuation, which we cannot know.
Yeah.
It's impossible to predict the future. So get that mentality out of your head. it was a really good trade, really well executed within your rule set that you understood. Target was good, entry was good. We rock and roll, right? Now we just do it again.
Yeah, and the more you stick to your trade plan, remember, you can size up if you are seeing, if you are like trading your edge and your plan is working. Remember, like you can size up a bit more once you have a better feeling of the setup, and then you have the potential to leave a runner once you've done that. Right now, initially, all you're looking for is just solid trades with R&R, taking profit into levels, right? Yeah, exactly. So great, just great stuff. Huge.
I've talked about this before, and like, yeah, it looks great when you can post the P&L where your contract ran 100 points, but like most of my personal edge is like, can I capture 4 to 6 points on 2 points of risk? And if you can do that 4 or 5 times a day, you have a career forever. It's literally, it doesn't have to be flashy, and it's not always going to be flashy. Like, how many times can you take 4 to 6 points? If you do it 5 times a day, you know, you're making 30 points a day.
Yep. Yeah, base hits are always going to be.
There's the bell on that. I guess ES actually did put in a new RTH flow there. And Q did not. RTY did not.
Still trading in the same garbage it was this morning. Russell back to 49. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, anything like through 5300 is still just this upper node.
Yep.
Say it's just, it's fine. Very similar to what, on Tuesday when we had that big sell and it was like, this is fine guys, it's literally just into our edge, and then that was the low. Alright guys, well, like I said, enjoy your 3-day weekend. Take some time tomorrow to do some chart review.
The S&P 500 registers the biggest Q1 percentage gain since 2019.
I will be decently around tomorrow if people have questions. Yeah, that's about it. Go ahead, sorry for interrupting.
No, reminder that if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. Next week, premium is free. All of our channels will be open. You can join us every day next week to trade, not just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Every day will be open. And I will be live. Mario will be here as well, live, streaming. Yeah? Yep.
I'm here. We'll see what if it's streamable. Twitch said no intimate, so I can't show my face. So.
Yeah, but, well.
No, but
yeah.
like, for members too, like, please be kind and helpful if we do see some new faces.
Yeah, please answer questions for me. Thank you.
Yep.
Remember, the more questions I have to answer, the less edge you have, because I'm not trading myself. Thank you.
Send them to Rory. He has all the alpha. True.
So unofficially for the quarter, the S&P 500 gained 10
But next week should be good.
6%, the Nasdaq
I hope,
rose 9
and it'll be better than this
1%,
week.
And the Dow climbed
That is for sure.
5.62%.
That will be for sure. Short week plus end of quarter, end of month, end of week. Garbage.
I believe Monday is open. I should check that. I'm pretty certain it is. I think it's just this Friday. Yeah, we're open Monday. Yeah. Your next holiday is Memorial Day, end of May.
But,
All right, friends.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
you. Have a great Easter. Eat lots of ham. Goodbye. I better see you in the Discord, Free. Peace, man. You guys have a great one.